Hello ladies and gentlemen, CaptainShack here, and welcome to some more Star Wars Galaxies. And I've been saying I want to do a few more of these guides and kind of introduce people to good old Star Wars Galaxies emulator, and it's about time I did. Honestly, it is about time that I did. So we're going to jump into Fix Cypher, my character. This is my main. He's so awesome. Load him up real quick. Oh, real quick before we load him up, let's see if I can show you guys. Yeah, that's supposed to be my Jawa. He looks a lot cooler in game. All right, let's do this. So what we're going to be talking about in this one, if you don't know, I spotlighted a while back, Star Wars Galaxies Emulator is a emulator that's bringing back the old Star Wars Galaxies MMORPG that SOE had created long ago. It was one of the last true sandboxes. It's pretty sweet, actually. It's a lot of fun, free to play. You just got to get yourself a copy of the game, which we've talked about endlessly. I don't support piracy. If you can buy it on Amazon, just got to get yourself a copy if you want to play it. Of course, we're back in our rebel city of Antilles, the mountain city of Antilles, on Talos. Let's go ahead and open up the map here. Show you guys where it's at. We're actually on the map now, which is pretty cool. Way out here, this is Talos. It's one of the moons or small planets in the Carillion system. Close my map, but it's pretty big actually. It doesn't look big because we kept the center clear, but if you go behind the HQ, there's a valley behind those buildings back there that, can I turn this? Here we go. Valley behind those buildings back there, behind the bank terminal, that is full of houses, the same with that direction, fairly large. And what we used to have was a rebel base here, but some Imperials decided they didn't like its face and blew it up, which, you know, all part of the game. We will have our revenge. Alright, so Fix is the captain of this rebel detachment in character. So let's go ahead and get into some of the basics of how the mechanics work in this game. Diving in real quick, we're going to look at armor, because this is something that's really confusing to new players coming in. Armor isn't like a normal MMO where, alright, you completed quest A and you bought better armor. That's it, until you get to the next area and you get your next piece of armor that's 5% better or whatever. In this one, everything is crafted by players, so you're going to find it's possible to get armor from NPCs, but they're never better than what you'll buy from a player. Actually, they're never better than what you can get from players. Good armor smiths make the best stuff. So what you're gonna find a lot of people wearing is something called composite. Yep, that's a piece of composite. Armor comes in, what is it, the chest piece, the arms, let's see, the shoulders, the bracers, the gloves, the pants, the boots, the belt, and some armor sets have backpacks. That would actually be the Rebel armor set backpack that I'm wearing. Backpack doesn't give you armor, and I don't think the belts do either, but everything else actually gives you some type of protection. Now, the thing is, let's go ahead and look at the stats. So to look at stats on anything, you just right-click it. It'll open up your radial menu, and then go to Examine. There you go. Composite armor looks kind of badass. This composite is, hands down, the best armor in the game. It's the late game armor. You're going to see a lot of people wearing it. There are other armor sets that'll be coming out soon, like the Bounty Hunters set, which will lead into the Mandalorian set. So there are going to be other armors that are better, but those are very hard to get. Composite, on the other hand, a good set, for a brand new player may be very expensive, but somebody who's been playing for a couple of days who knows what they're doing can easily pick themselves up a set. I mean, you can make tons of money in this game, so. Let's dive into what these stats mean, though, because that's the confusing part. So we're going to run down from the top. Composite armor, that's just your name, your condition. So armor and everything in the game that you wear and use takes damage and eventually will break. If it gets down to 0, the item will be broken forever. Bom, bom, bom. That's not good. That means you can't repair it. Now, an unskilled player can try to repair this armor. Valefor learned this the hard way. He bought himself a repair kit and tried to use it on something that had like 10,000 health left. Immediately broke his armor and brought it down to like 1 point. 1 out of 1 or something crazy like that. So keep in mind your armor will break. Now, that's a good thing, though, because all these MMOs were there. Guild Wars is a great example. You've got crafting, right? So, oh, cool, people can be crafters. But with armor that never breaks, there is no economy. Once you get the armor piece you like, I know on my character, he's been wearing the same armor for the last like 6 months over on Guild Wars. And he'll never change that armor unless he finds something better. There's no reason to ever go to an armor smith and say, hey, can you fix my stuff? Can you make me a new set? So, okay. Anyways, back to the stats and me bitching about Guild Wars. I'm done with that. Let's see, going down volume, how many of them are there? You can buy items in crates, in batches, so you can buy a crate of weapons, a crate of armor, a crate of food, and sometimes it's beneficial to do that. It's easier to carry, too. Jumping down, the creator, if they're a master armor smith, they can actually sign their name on who created it, which is pretty cool. I don't know who Sefita is, but he made me a set of armor, and he is awesome for it. Going down, sockets. So sockets, think Diablo, right? The old Diablo, Diablo 2, where you could put items in the sockets, like having the electric sword. It's kind of the same deal in this. You're not going to get elemental damage, though. Here's an example of an armor attachment, which is a socket that you'd put into this armor. What does this one do? I looted this off a dead stormtrooper, so I don't even know. Carbine accuracy. So what armor will do, it'll enhance your already, the skills you already have. This will give me carbine. I don't really use carbine, so I'm not really going to use that, but somebody like Tabby, one of our members of the guild, my girl, would love to have carbine accuracy, so I'm probably going to give that to her. Probably why I kept it, actually. Okay, let's see, so it has 4 sockets available. That's just in the helmet, so think about that. You can have 4 sockets available on each piece. You can get a nice buff to maybe your dodge skill or whatever skill you want. For me, as a pistolier, dodge is a thing. That's why it popped into my head. Armor rating. Armor rating is important in a number of ways. You might want to check the creatures you're shooting at. I think if you're at least a scout with some skills, you can see what armor rating a creature has. I know rangers can see really detailed information about creatures, but I think it only requires the scout skills. I could be wrong. It could be just a default skill. You might automatically be able to see what armor rating a creature has. But anyways, armor is exactly what it means. If your weapon doesn't have armor piercing, this right here, my FWG5, I love this pistol. Super fast firing pistol. Doesn't have any armor piercing. Armor piercing, none. But the DX2, my acid spitting pistol, shoots this weird green burst out of it. It does have some armor piercing. So this will penetrate the armor protection of this. Now there are stats. If you guys want to see like exactly how the numbers play out, just Google it. There's a ton of guides that'll tell you exactly how all the numbers work. But the easiest way to look at it is if you have armor and somebody's using an armor-piercing weapon, you're going to get more of a resist from it. Then, of course, you get into the resistances, which are pretty self-explanatory, kinetic, 80%. So if somebody comes up to me and punches me in the face, and that's kinetic damage, it's going to resist 80% of that damage. I'm really dumbing it down. The actual numbers on how all this works is fairly complex, and I recommend if you really want to get deep into Star Wars Galaxies PvP, you go in and read some of the guides. So going through the list, you've got special protection effectiveness, of vulnerabilities. So composite has a vulnerability to lightsabers and stun, so don't go messing with Jedis. Stun, there's a couple. I think there's a rifle. There's a few weapons that give you stun damage. Now the biggest deal that reason people are like, well, Shack, tell me how to use armor, I don't understand it, is because of the encumbrance. They don't understand why they can't equip. Here's your encumbrance down here. They don't understand why they can't equip their armor. They just bought, $30,000 worth, 30,000 credits worth of armor, and they can't equip it. And I get the messages a lot. It's like, well, Shaq, what's going on here? That's your encumbrance. If you don't have the stats, you can't equip it. Health, action, mind, those correspond to your health, your action, and your mind bars up here. You can see this is a helmet. The helmet's going to be on my head, so that's going to be my mind bar. It's going to take 262 of my health. That's straight up off the top health. So what you'll find is in your first set of composite, you're not going to be able to equip it all. Let me turn on my light. L is to turn on your personal lamp. You're going to find and equip the shoulder pads, and let's equip the boots. And I'm missing bits. Where's my pants? I got no pants. There you go. Now I'm pantless to the world. Damn it, Fix. This is not becoming a rebel officer. Let's put some pants on. All right, so now I got my pants back on. You notice I can't equip my pants, and that's because I don't have the stats to do so. Now you're probably wondering, well, then what's the point of having composite if you can't wear the whole thing? You can get buffs. You can get buffs to your stats. Can't talk this morning. Through a doctor, who will give you the best buffs. A doctor, and then a musician will give you a mind buff. You can find them in cantinas, and you can find the doctors in the med bays of the major cities, and they'll give you like 2-3 hour buffs, and then you could equip all your armor. And that's pretty much the best way to go about doing the really hardcore missions and whatnot. So let's see. So that's how you equip that. So some of the smaller items, like Ubesi is a good example. That's another set of armor, and I don't have a good example on me to show you what that looks like. But you could probably wear a full set of that without being buffed. The Rebel armor that you get for faction points, it's not nearly as good as composite, but I have a set. Actually, I think there's a set right here in the HQ, sitting inside the briefing room. But I can wear that set, and I think it's like 30% resists across the board on that set. Let's walk on in here to the meeting room. This is where we meet up on our live stream nights and our community game nights. There you go. There's the Marine light armor. And you'll see that these statistics are nearly, 30% across the board. Not as good, nearly as good, but yeah, there you go. The encumbrance is nothing like the composite, so I can wear that whole set. That's kind of the trade-off. Now, we can go into some advanced stuff I'm not really going to go into, where you can have your stats migrated. Let's see here. Where's my character sheet? I'm gonna push all the buttons till I find it, because I never actually look at the damn thing. Get out of my face. Let's see, abilities, that's skills, questionable. Push all the buttons. There it is. So, you can tell I never use this button. All right, so let's close this stuff. This is my character sheet, and you can see I got my stats. These are all your stats. There's 3 per bar up here. You've got your overall health, then you've got your strength and your constitution. Strength and constitution, you'll notice, are really, really low. That's because the armor that I'm wearing, it just drained it completely. That's why I can't wear that armor. So when you get your buffs, strength and constitution will change how fast your health regenerates. I'm going to keep this really simple. So when you get your buffs, those will max out, and you'll actually be able to wear all your armor. I'm trying to think, is there anything else I'm missing for armor and how it works? I think that's it. Armor, it's needed for high-end missions, for running missions on, on lock or on indoor. You're gonna want it. You're gonna want buffs too. Buffs are a key aspect of this. Oh yeah, one more quick thing about buffs. They come in food too. You can buy, like, here we go. I got Paquita pie. I could eat as bofa treats. Somebody gave me these. They give me plus 36 to health for 30 minutes. This was made by a starting artisan. This isn't made by like a chef, but the higher end stuff can definitely give you some buffs, but they're short term. They're not gonna last nearly as long as a doctor buff, which will last like 30 minutes. So I know, guys, didn't really do much in this video except for talk a lot and explain some things, but I hope it was helpful. I hope it cleared up some of the issues people have been having with Star Wars Galaxies, not understanding how this game works. I hope you enjoyed it. Look at the planets. I love this planet. Everything's got this weird purple tint to it. But if you enjoyed this video, hit that thumbs up button, subscribe to this channel for more modding and gaming goodness and Star Wars Galaxies goodness. I'm gonna do a few more guides talking about house placement and whatnot. Probably gonna talk about Jedis too, because there's been a patch recently. More Jedi stuff is being added. Not on the main server, but on the test server. But that means it's coming soon. So I'm excited about that. Yep. Thank you guys for joining me, and I will see y'all next time. Later.